Her name is Gina Sweeney, and she's going to give you all a pep talk. Gina is our Director of Community Services at the CMTA. She's responsible for all the branches across the country, and she also organized this conference with me. So thank you so much, Gina.
Very welcome.
Applause.
Is this? Oh, it's on. Okay, so I have to find my. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Woo! So I first want to thank everyone for coming to this amazing conference. It's absolutely amazing. Of course, we would not be here at this conference if it wasn't for the CMTA. But Elizabeth Olette puts a lot of her time and her volunteers into this conference. So I would like everybody to applaud her. And also all of the branch leaders and everybody that has helped to make this conference a success. So I applaud all of you, the branch leaders, Susan Rudiger, everyone. So thank you so much. So in preparing for this, my presentation, I realized I had 15 minutes. And I'm a talker. So 15 minutes to try to tell you why the time is now. Why the time is now to get involved and stay connected to the CMTA. And I kept thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? So I thought I would put a story together for you. And it's a story of me. It's a true story, but a short story without all the mumbo-jumbo involved. So I would like to share this story with you. And if I go over, Elizabeth's going to have my head. So my story starts in 1983. In 1983, the CMTA was established. And just a little background on how the CMTA came about. In 1982, a bunch of people, maybe a handful of people, kind of got together to support one another, to talk about their CMT. Maybe, hey, what's working for you? What's working for you? What's working for me? Well, they decided that, you know what? There's probably many more other people out there. So let's start fundraising, and let's create an organization so we could provide resources for others. So that is how the CMTA came about. But also, in 1983, there was a scrawny little girl named Gina. And yes, that's me. And this scrawny little girl fell a lot. And she began to fall more and more that her parents went through way too many Band-Aids. Way too many Band-Aids. I think my parents should have taken stock out in the Band-Aid company because they would be billionaires by now. I came from a family of 6. The names I was called. Klutz comes to mind. How many of us, we were all called Klutz. So my mom took me to the doctors, and I heard those famous words, you know, my daughter is just not walking right. So those are 2 big things that happened in 1983. As I move on to the next 9 years, I lived without knowledge, not of my diagnosis, but knowledge of what I had. I was diagnosed with CMT at the age of 15. And I was lucky to be diagnosed fairly quickly by an orthopedic surgeon. And he pulled out a book like this. And inside that book was a teeny little paragraph about CMT. That's what we had. Also, Gina, you're not going to be able to participate in gym class. Gina, you're not going to be able to work. Gina, you're going to need surgery on both feet. You're going to cut a little bone, lower your arch, make you walk a little bit better. That's what I had. Well, I didn't listen to the gym class, and I didn't listen to working, because at the age of 17, I went for my very first job interview with a bright pink cast on my left foot. Of course, they wanted to know, well, why did you hurt yourself? What's going on there? And what am I supposed to tell them? I couldn't even say Charcot-Marie-Tooth. I couldn't even say it. How was I supposed to explain it? So I concentrated more on my surgery and what the orthopedic surgeon did. They hired me, but I think it was out of sympathy. It was a good hire, but I think they hired me out of sympathy. Then, 1992 came about. I was living life, trying to figure things out, but I was also trying to figure this thing out called Charcot-Marie-Tooth, CMT. What is it? I was out on my own. I stopped by at my mom's in 1992, and she said, Gina, you're never going to believe this, but your Uncle Kelly found this association, and they're called the Charcot-Marie-Tooth Association. They're based in Pennsylvania, and he got you an info pack. He gave them your name, and we got this mailing. And I'm looking at this CMTA report, and I'm thinking, really? What is this newsletter? What is this piece of paper? What is this going to do for me? What is it going to do? And I let it sit. Never picked it up. So, the next 10 years, I lived without knowledge. Knowledge of what I had. I was working, I was enjoying life, and I started dating. I met the man that I'm married to today. And I remember my mom saying, Gina, you're going to have to tell him what you have. What? What do you mean? I don't want to do that. Well, how am I supposed to tell him what I have when I don't even understand it? I didn't know CMT affects your peripheral nerve and, the muscles are going to atrophy. How am I supposed to tell him this? So I invited him over to my apartment, made him a big fat lasagna, garlic bread, salad and all. I sat him down and I said, so, I have to tell you, I have this thing. I always called it a thing. This thing, and my feet are going to kind of look a little funny, and they're going to get high arches, and I think something's going to happen to my muscles, but good explanation, right? That's what I told him. He married me anyways. So I was very, very fortunate. But also in this 10 years, I had my first child. And I had in my mind the possibility that she could have CMT, but I didn't understand how she would get my CMT. Does that make sense? So I just was a little confused. Whoa! 2002, I finally see the light. And you know how? A support group, now known as branches, started in my area. I open the mail and I see this flyer, CMT support group. I'm like, get out of here. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? There's people living with CMT just like me? This is fantastic. I got to go, I got to check this out. So I went. The speaker at the time, and at the time it was the old president in 2002. And the president was up there telling us all about these doctors that she's visited and these materials that she had. And the more she talked, the more I got annoyed. How does she know about this stuff and I don't? I don't know. I was like, this is crazy. I mean, there's an association for me. I can get support. I can get educated. I can get these doctors. I got to get involved with these people. I got to get involved. I wouldn't have been annoyed if I only looked at the CMTA report back in 1992. And I'm glad that I got connected to the CMTA when I did, because, and this is the hard part, in 2005, little Miss Riley Jean came about. Now, we're all parents. How many of you have children with CMT? Right? So, when I found out that Riley had CMT, I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken because us as parents, we want to take our kids to the doctors, make them better. And there was nothing there. There was no magic pill. to take her CMT away. But what I did have was the CMTA, because I knew that they were going to help me find the right doctors. They were going to help me find the right resources for her to live a better life, a quality life with CMT. That's what I had. So if I wouldn't have got connected to the CMTA, I wouldn't have known how to best care for Riley. And boy, I am glad that I did stay connected. And I read my CMTA report. Because in 2008, Star was born. Star was born. And you know, Pat stood up here and gave you an awesome presentation. Told you updates about Star. And he probably used some words that you maybe are not familiar with. But Star, to me, is a world without CMT, the promise and the hope of our future. There's 5 points on a star. I filled in 3. I want to know what Star means to you all. And I want you to write it down on your survey, because we want to know what Star means to you. After I found out about Star, I thought, well, I better start doing something. So I gave the CMTA my time, my talent, and my treasure. Guys, there's no handbook for this. There's no presentations that anybody could possibly give you. I closed my eyes and I jumped right in. I was already connected to a support group at that time, a branch. As my time, I was giving to the local branch. I was already a co-leader, but I went back and I rallied the troops. I educated them more and more about what the CMTA was doing as far as research. My talent, what is my talent? Everybody in this room has a talent. I contacted the CMTA and said, hey, you know, I think I want to put a kids' day together. This is in 2009. I contacted a local charter company. I got them to donate a bus, gathered some kids, and away we went. My treasure. I did a fundraiser for the CMTA. My treasure is I reached out to my family and my friends, rallied them to rally behind me so I could help the CMTA. So you see, knowledge is power. The CMTA will give you the insight and the knowledge and a shoulder to cry on. When you call the CMTA, there's that other person on the other end of the line. But more importantly, the CMTA is going to change the face of CMT with the resources, with the awareness, and the research. So don't be like the old me. Be the new me. Energetic, excited, involved with the CMTA. Become a member of the CMTA. Invite us into your home. Put us on your coffee table. Put us on your kitchen counter. Because in doing that, you know that you are not alone. We have your back. How many of you are members? $30 or $100 members? I ask you today to get connected to the CMTA. Don't leave this room without doing so. The CMTA is moving so fast. You don't want to miss out. The application is on the bottom of your survey. $30, $100, Boston special only. Brace of this wonderful, beautiful necklace. You can get this just today. Just today. So I would love for you all to stay connected to us and who we are It's the old one. Because we are one cause. We are one family. And the more you learn about who we are and what we're doing, you too are going to want to give your time, your talent, and your treasure so you can help the CMTA complete their mission. And that's a world without CMT. Thank you. And happy Awareness Month!